Today we're talking about how often should you test your water. Now I got this question from comments, so if you leave comments down below on videos, a lot of us here at the co-op are reading those and we're getting ideas for blog articles, we're getting ideas for videos to make, we're getting ideas for topics for live streams, right? Now when it comes to changing water, I've done some videos on why do we change water and things like that, and those are 20+ minute spiels that you can listen to and hopefully learn something from. But as far as I'm concerned, you can't really check your water too often. Now, it used to be time and kind of cost prohibitive. Well, time or cost, not really both. If you had a drop, kit, it takes a long time to test your water. Like an API master test kit, to truly test water and get a few parameters and really get a good look at that water takes maybe 10 minutes. But now, like with our test strips or others, 100 packs or more, you're starting to get to see some of that economy of scale that makes testing all the time fairly economical. When we set up the 1450 gallon for Murphy, the new store tank, right? We're going to be testing that thing several times a week before we actually get fish in it. After we add fish in it, we're going to be testing it several times a week as we're adding plants, as we're dialing in CO2, as we're dialing in fertilizer, as we're adding more fish, as we start feeding full force. Right now, Murphy's in a 360 gallon aquarium. We're going to a 1450 gallon aquarium. If you put in the same amount of food, you would think, well, that aquarium is huge, it's gonna be fine. The reality is we get an ammonia spike and we'd be in trouble real fast. That's because we don't have enough bacteria, we don't have a well-developed ecosystem where we've got algae and we've got plants and we've got different bacteria working for us. We don't know our water change schedule. So like right now, in the 360 gallon, right? We change about 15% every single day. Well, we're taking that same fish and we're putting in a tank that's 5 times as big for simple math, right? If we change 15% of that water, we're changing way more water. All of a sudden, we're changing like 175 gallons of water every day. We probably, with a bunch of testing, can go, oh, we only need to change like 5% of that water every day, or maybe it's 10% every 3 days. Now, how do we know all of this? Testing. Looking at the amount of waste buildup, whether it's ammonia, nitrite, nitrate. We want to see our pH levels crashing because as a result of feeding food, pH can move. Now, we use things like crushed coral to help buffer against that, and all the clams that are in Murphy's tank, the shells, they naturally do that anyway. So that's kind of nice. So we might be testing every single day for the first month. And if something was to go wrong at a store like that, you're disproportionately like, oh, I thought they were professional. I thought they'd be better than that. And the reality is everybody gets busy during Christmas and, you think, it's fine. The only way to know is testing. If I can get results in like a minute, I'm much more likely to do it than 5 minutes, right? Because like, oh, well, maybe you're on the way out of your room with your fish tanks and you're just like, well, that fish looks a little off. Yeah, but I should get to bed. I got to brush my teeth and go to bed. If it's just this and 1 minute later, you're much more likely to do that action and go, oh, wow, yeah, okay, tomorrow I got to do a water change. That's crazy. I did not see it going up that fast, right? So in a perfect world, new tanks, you're testing very frequently. And that, let's say you're brand new to the hobby and it's a brand new tank, you might test once a day, every day for 30 days. But then at some point in your hobby or that tank's life, it's going to start going, well, I tested it yesterday, it was at 20 parts per million nitrates. Tested today, it's at 20. Tested tomorrow, it's at 20. Tested the next day, 20. Pretty soon, it's looking the same every time you do it. That's the first sign of, all right, I probably don't need to test every day. I'm going to start testing every third day. And pretty soon, you test on Sunday, okay, it's 20. I test on Wednesday, okay, it's 20. I test on Sunday again, okay, it's 20. All right, maybe I'm only going to start testing Sundays now. And as you keep seeing the pattern being the same every time, that means your ecosystem is better developed. It means your system is more stable than it was. It means you're kind of dialed in. You can predict, let's say you go 3 Sundays in a row and it's at 20, you can go, I bet you it's going to be 20 this 4th Sunday. So then you might be going, well, I only need to test once a month. So that's basically as infrequent as I like to get. Maybe you went on vacation, someone else fed. Maybe your fish are getting bigger. Maybe they had some babies. Maybe you switched up foods. Maybe you didn't change quite as much water as you normally did. And you can catch all of those with that once a month test of like, oh yeah, we're starting, normally I'm always at 20. This time I was at 50. Okay, well maybe I should make a change. And that change might be Maybe you change foods, you know, you go to a cleaner food, or maybe you feed less food. You could also be making adjustments you don't realize are changing it. Like, well, you were really proactive and last Saturday you trimmed all your plants and it looks amazing, but we didn't realize you reduced the plant biomass by half, and 2 weeks later you've got nitrates building up because they're not eating them as fast, right? What can happen a lot of times, my tank's been running great for 6 months. I don't even need to test. My water is always perfect. Then you do that, oh, I trimmed a bunch of plants, I changed food, I missed a water change, and you start getting into these scenarios where you're having problems with fish, and then you test it, it's way out of whack. So that's why I don't like to go more than a month of just quick little dip, take a look. And honestly, I do a bunch at a time. I will just dip, like 5 tanks in a row, put them all in a line, put them next to my chart, and I'm just looking for anomalies. I don't care whether it says 10 or 25 parts per million nitrate, I don't care. I want to make sure that it's saying 0 nitrite, right? I care a little bit about buffer and hardness, but not even that much, and I care about pH. I'm kind of looking for a very top-level macro view. Which one of my aquariums stands out as, ooh, that's not what I expected. From there, most of my tanks settle in, and they hopefully run like clockwork. Obviously, I love test strips. That's why we developed these ones, and we made them cheap. I have the ability, I could have matched other ones out there and only did 100 or even 25, and we could have made a ton of money. But I do strongly believe in testing your water often, and if I could remove, and I feel like I've done that. I've basically removed the money aspect. 200 tests for less than 20 bucks at that speed, by the way, because drop kits are very cheap as well over that many tests, but they're not quick. It basically has made it so that we are the excuse now. If I don't test my water, it's because I'm lazy. Testing water, very important. Sometimes you got to test all the time. Sometimes you can have tanks and systems that you rarely test. Like my pond, for instance. I might test that 3 or 4 times a year. I kind of test it going, you know, into pond season before I start feeding. Is there anything I need to do? I test it middle of summer because now we've got lots of evaporation. The temperatures are different. I've been feeding heavy. I test it going out of winter or out of summer, right? We're going into winter. I'm going to turn off food. Anything I need to do before I let these guys just chill for the winter. And then I might test it one time during the winter, mostly because I wandered down being curious going, I wonder how cold it is. So it's more of a curious thing and not a, I think I need to be doing that. And, you know, I still get the results either way. You know, that pond runs very, very acidic. We did a lot of cleanup on the outside of that pond, got rid of a lot of sticker bushes and that kind of stuff, built the drain bigger, put in screens and that kind of stuff to prevent fish from escaping. We need to work on, I want to get power to the pond so I can get these big air stones going to get the muck moving, and so we can overflow some water and get that, basically that muck leaving the system. I could then make a little filter, if you will. I just want to run some water over like some crushed coral and help buffer that water over time. That's what I'm looking to do. So
we hope you enjoyed this video. We actually picked another one that we thought you might like, so click on it right here.